Hello viewers, welcome to bRanN's Test World. No, bRanN's Mapping Journal. Yes. Welcome to bRanN's Test World on bRanN's Mapping Journal. And I have a little experimental system. I guess it's not experimental anymore. It was when I was testing to see if it would work. Let me go ahead and clear that stuff. Okay. I have been working on another class, number 2. What was I calling him? Well, he wears the boots of the Guardian. I imagine him to be this inventor type character, and he has a shield. Let me switch to survival real quick. There we go. Oh my gosh. How do I do? Let's get some saturation. That'll heal me up. By default, we have 6 hearts. And he's going to have 4 additional hearts that are this power shield absorption. Right now, I've been doing it manually. So, absorption level 2, true. And that is going to give him 4 hearts. The other thing that I have going on is if you are holding a potion, a specific potion, in your offhand, it augments you with an ability. Also, I have the glowing effect applied, and I'm not sure if I'll keep this, but I kind of like the concept, the idea, to this class when he has absorption hearts. With special thanks to the Zen, is how I'll pronounce that, who posted what I'm using in our little map-making chat, and it let me realize I could do something that I didn't realize I could do before. And also a special thanks to Helicio, maker of Ragecraft 3, because that's kind of where we found the command. Now, it's not the same command that he was using for his map. It's something slightly different. But basically, what that lets me do is I can have a variable that is 0 for when I have a shield and 1 for when I don't. And so I can have effects going off only when I have a shield, which is what I wanted to do. So right now I have it set up so that if this class puts specific potions in their offhand, it triggers an effect if you have enough levels. So if you have at least 5 levels and you have a fire resist or water breathing potion, you put it in your offhand and that will make it so you have that effect. You don't actually have to use the potion. Same for any speed potion, any resistance potion. No. Regeneration potion, which I've converted to resistance because I feel like that's something more appropriate. I don't want to give regen. That seems a little too easy. And strength. So this class is interesting in that they're going to have a regenerating. Most of their life, or part of their life, is going to be regenerating. And I might flip this too, so it's like 6 and 4, or maybe even 6 and 2. Maybe just 4 and 4. I don't know. I'll play around with the the amounts. This is the class that is meant to automatically get experience. If we go ahead and remove the levels, you'll see that it slowly ticks up to, should go up to level 3. And then I was doing this weird funky thing to change all XP orbs within range of this class to a value of 7. So on average, they're going to get more experience. However, in the latest snapshot, they just added a luck potion, which from what I read on the wiki is supposed to give you increased experience. So if that's the case, I get rid of this and give luck. And then I also believe there's bad luck. So rather than completely preventing the barbarian from getting experience, I could instead give them bad luck, which would make it so they don't find the best treasures in chest if they are actually set up with a loot table, and so that they get a little bit less experience. Now, do I have I do have a splash potion of healing. This, I do not believe, is one of the effects. No, and even if it was, I'm not high enough level to trigger it. So let's go ahead and give me 20 levels. No, that doesn't do anything. Okay, let me set up a chest with some potions. Let's switch the side bar to display offhand. This is the variable that is used for this thing. This is the offhand system for this class. I believe I have something similar for the archer. So it's going to change offhand to 0, and then it's going to immediately change it to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, depending on the potion equipped. There's a couple different statistics that show up on potions based on the type. So, for example, fire resistance, you have long fire resistance, and you have, I don't think you have strong fire resistance, but essentially there's a few options there. So, I've done that to capture them all. And apparently you can make a chain that goes around and down. I didn't realize until I had to do that. So that was a good thing to find out. So we have 20 levels now. So let's switch the fire resistance, and that becomes over here. Now, one of the recent changes they made, and I'm kind of sad, is the particle effects. If you set it to false, or to not hide them, if you set it to hide the particles, it also now hides the display up here. And I kind of like that it was up there, because now you have feedback that there's a thing going on. The thing is, to make it the other way, you're going to have to switch to creative, come in here, change this to false, or just leave it off. And that means you're going to have the swirl effects. Now, maybe for this class it's okay, but I feel like that during the whole game is kind of annoying, but it does give the visual feedback of what's going on. As a matter of fact, let me change all these real quick, because I think I need that. And later on, we can change our mind. Okay, there we go. Now, let's play around with a few of these. I prefer to be in survival, so it seems a little more authentic. What is this one? Potion of regeneration. Now we're going to get resistance, and our fire resistance is going to tick down. So you do have a few seconds while it's still there. I might lower that. The reason it's set to the amount it currently is because you'll see as your effect fades, it gets lighter in color. And if you're giving someone 2 seconds of resistance, for example, it kind of stays this dull gray, and I didn't like that. Now, if we decide to not worry about the display off to the side, then that's not an issue. But it's just kind of fun. There's water breathing, there's strength. Now, I originally wanted to make this character powered by levels, so I wanted the levels to slowly drain as you had one of these active in your sidebar. But apparently, the command to subtract levels can only subtract entire levels. It can't subtract like dink, 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 dink. I was hoping it would be a very slow, just taking away 1 point of experience at a time. And then when it gets here, this would go down and be full and just kind of keep going. Similar to the first thing I'm thinking of is Sonic, when you collect all the emeralds and you have 50 rings and you go into chaos mode, you turn yellow, you like Super Saiyan Sonic, and you can stay that. And you have to go around and try to keep collecting coins before your coins run to 0. Otherwise, you lose that. And that would be similar to this. You'd want to rush in and kill enemies and gain more experience points so you can just kind of keep your special effect going a little faster. Now, I am currently above 30 levels, and you see that my strength is level 2. And so this at least still feels like you have to kind of get yourself to a point where you're powered up. If we take that down, it's going to stop giving us... Oh, I need to actually go below 30 levels, don't I? If I go below 30 levels, it's going to stop applying this effect to me. It's now currently, right now, trying to give me strength 1, but it can't because I have a higher level potion effect. But as soon as this ticks off, it's going to immediately get replaced with strength 1. There you go. And it's constantly refreshing it. I kind of like it like this, but to make it show up like that, you have to completely, you have to max out the time. And I don't want to max out the time because I want it to naturally run out. That way I don't have to have additional command blocks that take it away. So this is fun. This is an interesting concept. But now that I have this, I'm going to set it up so that once all your absorption hearts are gone, this effect counts down. It no longer applies. And that's a simple thing of simply adding some stuff to this. So actually, let's do a quick test just to show you what it looks like. And then I will let you go because I need to work on this a little more. I don't even have the absorption shield refreshing yet. That's what I was working on here. It's basically a timer that will slowly count up, and once it reaches a certain point, it refreshes the shield. But anytime you receive damage, that timer gets reset. So your life will slowly go down, and then it'll cut into here. And if you can go long enough without getting damaged, these can come back. Expect a lot of cry boxes for whoever plays this class if you're not doing so hot. Let's do an experiment. Let's have the fire resistance. Yeah, let's do that one. If we simply add score underscore offhand equals 0, this does not mean it equals 0. That means it equals 0 or less. It's kind of confusing the way it works. Then it will be able to keep applying this effect. If this is not true, so if offhand goes to 1, which does so when there's no absorption hearts, this will no longer be able to apply. So we're just basically adding parameters for which it will be cut off. Now, first let's get rid of our switch to survival. I have more than enough levels. It's detecting that I must have broke the command somehow. Oh, I see what I did. Not offhand. What a derp. Shield off is false. I was going by this. Okay, so now we have our fire thingy. And let's turn off this display. Just be a little more authentic. And you'll see we have our glowy effect. Switch back to survival. Yeah, that looks like way too many hearts. I kind of would like to do 5 and 5, but I think the way this effect works, you can't. You have to do increments of 2. So you 2, 4, 6. But I could have 3. Okay, I had to think about that. I do that off camera. So we take a little bit of fall damage. And we have our effect, our fire potion effect. Maybe this will be more fun this way. And our cool potion effect, our glowiness to show us that we have our shield on. And then we simply fall. And then we simply climb. Oh gosh, okay. Sorry. Okay, after this fall, for sure. I was going to try to run and jump, but it didn't quite work. Yeah. We lose our shield, and immediately our fire resistance ticks down. So you get it for a few seconds, and I'm okay with that, because it's like it's a lingering effect. But essentially, your shield is gone, and the idea, I don't even think I said this, is that you have the shield. I mentioned that. But the idea is that you're augmenting your shield by holding a potion in your secondary slot. And I like triggering things by having something in your secondary slot, because then it also makes it so that you can't use that slot for something else. The other thing that this class is going to be able to do is you're going to be able to keep a selection of potions on your bar. And so as the situation warrants, like say you're walking around and you fall in the lava, you'll be able to quickly switch to this and just swap it out if you're quick. Water breathing, I imagine, let's test this out. Water breathing is kind of interesting. Maybe you don't really care to keep that there just for the rare case, but you might keep it on your bar. And as you're underwater, this might be a little cheaty, and your oxygen goes down, you might just swap it out and then swap it back. Now, this is interesting. Your bars weren't refreshed, so that's good. I'm glad. I'm glad that's the way it works. Otherwise, you just swap it. But you could, like, I really want this other enchantment. I don't know. That's cool. I'm glad that it locks into place. Very good, very good. Okay, I need to do some more work. And I also need to check if leads work so I can show you the other thing. But that'll be a next episode type of thing. So until then, this has been bRan, glowing and wielding, dual wielding potions. I'll see you next video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day.